Oh, the committee, as you will see once we get near the end, this was a momentous day for the committee, and we'll explain why in moments. But first, the bottom of the tiers, those that will not be named. Look at the sad Seattle Seahawks right next to the Jets. I get it, Washington football team. If the playoffs started today, you'd be in. Don't care. You're not going to actually be in when it counts. Saints free falling since they lost Broussard's dark horse MVP, Jameis Winston. All right, next group, please, if we can.
Just proof.
This group is what we're going to call AFC chum. Do you know what chum is? You chum the waters, gets eaten up by the bigger fish.
Yeah.
The Titans and maybe one other of these teams will make the playoffs. Congrats to the Dolphins for actually being on a named tier for the first time all year. But they will be annihilated in their first playoff game. Any of these teams that make the playoffs will be annihilated in the first playoff game. We don't need to talk about them any further. Next group, please. These teams might not make the playoffs, but if they do, they absolutely could upset somebody. Colts, Vikings, Niners. Dangerous teams. Now, will they get into the tournament? I'll tell you who hopes they don't. The top seeds in those conferences. The 2 seeds or 3 seeds that could be facing any of these teams if they were to make it. Those are dangerous teams, but we don't know if they are going to make it. Next group, year too soon. I like these 2 teams a lot, but it is impossible for me to believe that a team whose coach and quarterback have never been in the playoffs are going to go on a deep playoff run. More on that hypothesis in a moment, which is why it's actually critical for both of these teams to make the playoffs, even if they can't go deep. That way they have the experience to make a real run next year. I like the team's lack of experience coaching quarterback too much. Next group, please. This is the false hope group. There's 3 fan bases that really, truly believe you could put them on a polygraph this morning. Oh, we can absolutely make the Super Bowl. But unless there is a conference realignment between now and January that sends the Chiefs out of the AFC, they can't. But right now, they all have this hope, this false hope, and right now it is impossible to rank any of these 3 teams ahead of each other. The Ravens have the best record, but the Patriots have looked the best as of late. The Bills have the most upside. They're all together. All right, November Nosedives, our next group. You might say, Nick, isn't that the name of a Keanu Reeves movie that flopped? No, that was Sweet November. Fun fact, my first kiss at that movie. This is Dallas and the Rams.
Wow.
Dallas, what are you doing as of late? It's true story. Look it up. You can't look it up, but I'm just telling you.
Look it up where?
Okay, well, so look it up. I don't know. Someone added to my Wikipedia now to these teams. One's lost 3 in a row. One's lost 3 of 4. The Rams' losses have come against good teams. The Cowboys' losses have come against 2 bad teams plus the Chiefs. But I don't know which is worse. It's like, is it worse to lose to teams we know you can beat, or is it worse to just consistently lose to teams the caliber of which you could play in the playoffs? With that said, the committee, unlike other supercilious power rankings, is not prisoners of the moment. We look at a whole body of work. They did enough the first couple months to maintain a relatively respectable ranking, but the November nosedive, they are very happy. It is now to the month of December. All right, NFC rematch, NFC championship game rematch, I should say. I don't know which of these 2 teams is better. I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to get to find out in the conference championship game this year, much like we did last year. This feels like we're going to get this, if the bracket allows, if it's not, they're not 2-3, that we are going to get this game again. Now, before we reveal the top 2 teams, I am very disappointed to say the committee watched the show last week and decided Chris Broussard beat me in an argument. I said, literally impossible.
Wow.
It's never happened. They said Broussard's points on elevating the Cardinals over the Chiefs. Cardinals and Chiefs, both on a bye last week. Yet because of the strength of Broussard's argument, we have downgraded the Chiefs to number 1 contenders. We have upgraded the Cardinals to favorites. So we can reveal the top of the tiers if you would like. Your 2 best teams in football, the Cardinals and the Chiefs. We flip-flopped them. I pushed hard against it. But they said Broussard made good points. Cardinals have the better record. They're winning without Kyler Murray. The Chiefs, there are small concerns from the committee. and we'll find out after the bye. How healthy is Travis Kelce? Still putting up great numbers, but doesn't quite seem to be the same guy. And he has been one of the, maybe the key offensive contributor, not named Mahomes. We'll see how healthy he is after the bye. So there it is. The committee overruling its chairman, elevating the Cardinals to number one. Chris Broussard, I hope you're happy. You should be proud of yourself. There it is, week 13 tiers.
Well, Nick Wright, all right, I was happy about 40 seconds ago. You were giving me love for the first time on this show. You were stating the obvious. I mean, the whole, obviously all the listeners knew already everything you said, but it was good to hear you say it. But then you unveil these tiers, and I realized you were patronizing me. You were mocking me. You didn't mean a word of what you just said. And I know America is saying, hold up. What are you talking about, Broussard? Nick is being objective. You said the Cardinals should be number one. They've been the best team this year. He listened to you. What's the problem? Here's the problem, America. I know what you don't know, but I'm about to let you in on the secret. There is this thing, and it's real. And the proof that it's real is the tiers you're looking at right now. It's called the curse of the tiers. 7 of the last 8 teams that have been number one have lost. Look at that. And Nick Wright thinks that he's slick. He tried to use me as a prop in his nefarious scheme to derail the Arizona Cardinals. You don't believe in the Cardinals, and you don't believe in my argument last week, Nick Wright. You are just trying to protect your beloved Chiefs. You made them number one last week because they had a bye. Yeah. And you knew they couldn't lose.
I didn't know they had a bye.
And now this week they're playing, you make them number two because you know your number one team, Arizona's done. I don't even know who they're playing. They're going down.
The Bears.
I can't believe this. Oh, my. You've hit a new low, Nick. And by the way, before Wiles goes, put the Packers up there with number two. If you must have the Chiefs on the second line, put the Packers up there with them. They've been playing the best football in the league. They deserve to be up there, too.
Just two quick points. One is very difficult to have the Packers and the Chiefs on the same level when they played very recently and the Chiefs won. So that's going to be a hard sell for me. Unlike the college football playoff committee, our committee does value head-to-head. We saw the game. They lost. Both teams were without a key contributor or two. We're not going to start, going through who was missing, who wasn't missing. They played. One team lost, one team won. Now, as far as the fear that the Chiefs could be affected by the alleged curse of the tiers, and that's why they've been downgraded as opposed to the committee outvoting me 8-3. I did have 2 people with me. Thank you, Marcus and Tom. But the Chiefs play the Broncos this week. The Broncos have lost 11 in a row to the Chiefs. They have never beaten Mahomes, and they are 3-19 in the history of the franchise at Arrowhead in December. There is no curse great enough to have the Broncos beat the Chiefs this weekend. That is not what happened, Wilds. I was just outvoted by fellow committee members. That's all that's happened here. Okay, okay. Well, Wilds, Broussard, there's no pleasing him.
Right now.
There's no pleasing him.
I know. You did get a compliment, Broussard. I've gone 0 for 2 years on this segment without a compliment. I'm going to try now.
He didn't mean it.
So here's the thing. We've talked up plenty. I've argued about the Patriots and the Chiefs ad nauseum. I am not going to have that argument right now for the sake of the segment.
You keep losing.
For the sake of the segment.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, you said, the tiers are a snapshot in time. I said, that's clever. Maybe I should copyright that and make T-shirts out of it. A snapshot in time. How can the Patriots, who are the hottest team in the NFL, be this far down? The Cowboys have lost 3 of their last 4 games. The Rams have lost 3 in a row. The Bills will find out on Monday. And then the Ravens. This is not just you. This is to all the Ravens fans and Ravens believers out there. Why are the Ravens on the same tier as the Patriots? Here's what the Ravens have done in the last 6 weeks. They had a great win against the Chargers. Then Lamar suffers his worst defeat of his career to the Bengals. Then they win in overtime to the Vikings. Then Lamar loses again and gets sacked and destroyed by the Dolphins. Then the Ravens, then Lamar doesn't play. We have a Tyler Huntley, Andy Dalton battle that no one knows how to judge and really no one cares about. And then we just saw Lamar throw 4 interceptions in a win against what was left of Baker Mayfield. What have the Patriots done in that time? They're on a 6-game winning streak with an average margin of victory of 24 points. Oh, but the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
The Patriots defense gives up fewer yards and fewer points than the Ravens. There is literally, and I mean this literally, there is literally no way that the Patriots and Ravens should be on the same tier. I don't know what fact you're hanging that off of. This is a snapshot in time that is inaccurate, my friend. Please move the Patriots up. Let's call the graphics team right now. Move them up.
Okay. Just very quickly,
graphic.
let me respond. Someone call the warden and get the handcuffs because Wilds is really suffering from prisoner of the moment syndrome. Absolutely, it's a snapshot in time. That means we are not projecting forward. That does not mean we are not looking at the totality of the season. And I find it mighty rich, my friend, that Mr. Quarterback Wins is evidently not a fan of team record. How on earth could I possibly have a team who has same amount of wins and fewer losses on the same level as your Patriots? How on earth could a team that has an MVP at quarterback, who also, by the way, I know you're big on how your quarterbacks played in college. Lamar is a pretty good collegiate player as well. An MVP at quarterback who has a veteran Super Bowl championship coach as well. And how could I have them on the same tier? Well, I don't know. One's 8-3, one's 8-4. They haven't played each other. Seems fair. Why would I not have the Patriots ahead of the Cowboys? Wow. Well, again, unlike the College Football Committee, we care about head-to-head. Patriots played the Cowboys. They lost. They lost. So, yeah, that's why. It's enough. Jenna, the committee can please no one. Wilds wants us to care about quarterback wins, except when it applies to his team. Broussard wants the Cardinals elevated, except for this week. It's outrageous.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.